You can edit that out, right? Yeah. Hello, my name is Lisa Parker, and this is Dave Isbell, and we are your alumni career team at Michigan State University, really wanting to talk today about the concept of networking, which is a subject that's been beaten over our heads quite a bit, but it still deserves a little bit more thought. Dave has his own thoughts in terms of the relationship side of networking, and I have my thoughts in terms of the strategic side of networking. But before we get into the strategy, Dave, what do you think are the most important considerations that need to be at the forefront of our minds when we're wanting to incorporate networking into our job search strategy?
So I think about networking in terms of collaboration. So you're looking for something, you're not looking for what's in it for me, you're looking for what's in it for the other. And I've said that a million times, but there's this other element, which is compassion, and that is really serving the other. It doesn't necessarily mean, giving money to charity or something like that all the time. It really means just taking an interest in the other person and being genuine. And so I think if you're focusing on building the relationship for the relationship's sake, you can move into the strategy part really easily. If you go and ask, hey, I need a job, do you know of any jobs? People they're not going to pay attention, they tune out. So I think it's really, really critical and important to reach out to people and look at this as a long-term relationship. Not that you're going to get something in return right now, this minute, or that maybe you'll be able to do something together this minute that's collaborative. But looking down the road, just putting this person into your life and looking for ways to kind of build a relationship.
So how do you look for ways? How do you look for ways to build a relationship? How do you know what matters to the other person you're trying to interact with?
I think asking questions. So one question is, what's new for you, or what's going on with you lately, or I noticed that you changed this status on your LinkedIn profile, or I noticed that you tweet about this kind of thing all the time. Tell me more about that. So really taking an interest in what the other person's interested in, and following up with that. So I'll give an example. Like, it's not always an equal exchange. It's not always I gave you a job lead, you give me one back kind of deal. It's can be little things. So I've had people that I'm just in conversation with. They realize that I really like comic strips because I've got them posted in my office, and I like that kind of thing. And so I've had people actually just mail me comic strips and say, hey, I was thinking of you, this made me chuckle, I thought you'd enjoy it. That kind of moves the relationship a little bit forward. It's little, it's small.
You're talking about a level of awareness.
Yeah.
And I think we've both experienced that individuals, when they're in a job search, become hyper aware of self. Mm-hmm. And lose awareness of other people. And it's not intentional, but we know when our next mortgage payment is due. We know how many people we've been chasing who hasn't called us back. We know what type of job we think we want. And the people around us kind of fade into this invisible area of our subconscious until we feel like we need to ping on them to get something.
That's right. Yeah. But that's also why networking doesn't work so well when you need to network. Yeah. It's an ongoing kind of lifelong process, and it's not confined to just career-related things. It's who I go to church with. It's the softball games that I play. It's whatever the activities are you're involved in.
It's not taking place in a finite period of time. Right. It's a habit. It's a lifestyle.
Right, and even shy people are the best at this actually, because all you need is a window to open up the conversation, and that can just be having one person introduce you to another person, and knowing a little bit about a lot of topics. So if you're shy, if you're introverted like me, read. Pay attention to what's going on in the world. Because that's a sure in when somebody's talking about it, that you have that little nugget that maybe they hadn't heard about. The other thing I would say is reach outside of your normal circle of influence, because people tend to hang out with people that are like themselves.
Yes.
And so the same information comes to those people. So naturally, they all know about the same things you do. So branch out to people that are in different occupations from you, branch out to people that are in different geographic locations, that have different interests, read different things that are outside of your industry, when you start doing that and start synthesizing that and bringing that into your own occupation, you're going to find that you're going to start building a niche for yourself, and you're going to have kind of more of an awareness. So these jobs that you didn't think existed or you didn't know about, you're more likely to fall into them.
Yeah. Or create them.
Yeah,
And
paying attention.
I think that's a nice segue into my thoughts in terms of the strategy in networking. When we go around to our network asking about, do you know of any jobs, or tell me about jobs, we're very much limiting their capacity to help us. Think about your busiest moment in your last job when you were just so involved with a project or a function. What was your true awareness of other jobs that were happening in your community, in your profession, in other professions, even within your own company? How many jobs do you know about at Michigan State right now? We know there are some, but I'm not keeping my thumb on them. It's too much with all of our other responsibilities. So when you're in the networking process, you want to be thinking not just about asking for jobs, but asking for perspective. And perspective goes a long way to building that relationship too, because it shows you honor an opinion, you honor advice. So I'm not necessarily on the hunt for a job anymore. I'm on the hunt for, Dave, what would you think of in terms of places where I might want to be spending my time? What companies have you been reading about in the Lansing area lately that excite you? Where are you tripping over other Spartans? What tools are you using in multimedia production? I'm in multimedia production too. How's your best way to use LinkedIn to evaluate market, to do market analysis? These are real conversations. They make us feel like the professionals that we are. We're able to demonstrate ourselves as the professionals that we are to our network instead of walking around all the time like a job seeker. Because nobody is hiring a job seeker.
Right.
There's no title for a job seeker, and our network doesn't know necessarily what to do with a job seeker. But they may know what to do with a human resources professional. They may know what to do with a communications professional. So that's what we've got today in terms of networking. Just remember, relationships, engaging with people, collaborating, awareness of others, and thinking strategically about, if I am going to take some of Dave's time, what's the best way for me to use it? And it's certainly not, Dave, do you know any jobs? That's certainly not the best way. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.